Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bells and Balance. I'm your host, Dani Klahr, and I wanted to talk tonight about food prep because last week I did a whole episode on time management, but I was super sick. And if you tuned into that episode, I greatly apologize because I know I was coughing a lot. It was just like a mess. And in hindsight, I probably should have canceled that episode, but I am trying to maintain a regular schedule. So I wanted to get more into the food prep side of things and just explain a little bit more about what that is, how it can save you time, and what I do on a regular basis to have food ready ahead of time. Just makes it easier for me to eat healthy. So you've probably heard the term food prep before. It's almost become like a buzzword in the health and wellness community, and especially with Team Beachbody and with the 21-day fix and the containers. That's just become a really widely used term. Food prep basically is when you take a chunk of time and you make a bunch of food ahead of time. And that might be making different recipes so that you have leftovers throughout the week. It might be making like chicken or fish or something that you can eat throughout the week, maybe chopping veggies and fruits, things like that. So I just wanted to share a few ideas with you, what I do, and just kind of tell you how that whole thing works. It might give you some ideas. Many of you may food prep already, but maybe you'll come up with some new ideas just based on what I'm telling you. So basically what I do is I usually do it on a Sunday, sometimes on Saturday. But the whole food prep process, that's not easy to say. The food prep process really starts with grocery shopping. So, thinking about what you want to make for the week, looking at any nutrition plan that you may be following and coming up with foods that you enjoy eating. And that's one thing that I always tell people is that if you're going to be following some sort of nutrition plan, you need to find foods that you're going to like. If you don't like veggies, find one or two that you can stomach. One of the recipes that I will mention in a second, and I think I might have mentioned it last week too, is it's like a carrot cake recipe, but it's not really like a sweet carrot cake. It's a little bit different, but that's one way of sort of sneaking veggies in if you don't really like them. So just find a few that you like, add those to your shopping list, lean meats and proteins, eggs. If you're vegan, you still want to get some good sources of protein. So beans, quinoa is a great source of whole nutrition protein. And, so just thinking about those things, it's very helpful to work off of a list. So if you are following some sort of nutrition plan, look at what foods you're able to eat or should be eating and make a list off of that. And then when you go grocery shopping, it isn't that difficult. You're not tempted by things. You're just following the list, get what you need, and go. And then you just take some time. You don't necessarily have to make everything all at once. I usually do a few things at a time, and then when I run out, I'll make it again. So I usually end up doing food prep twice a week. Typically, I'm doing some today, and what's today, Tuesday? I usually do it like either Saturday or Sunday, and then either Tuesday or Wednesday. So I've got like, on the weekend, that's really for like the beginning of the week, and then Tuesday or Wednesday is usually for the remainder of the week. So today I'm making that carrot cake. The recipe for that is actually on our Bells and Balance blog. So it's just bellsandbalance.com, and if you go under recipes, it's listed there. That's a really, it's something that at first I was like, I don't really know if I like it because it's not super sweet. It's not really like, it's kind of like cake, but not like, it's not like a sweet cake, like not your normal carrot cake, but it has a lot of good protein in it. It has eggs, it has the carrots, and then it has oats, and then some spices and things like that to make it taste delicious. And I put peanut butter on it. It's really, really good. So I usually make a batch. It makes 4. So that gets me through half a week, obviously, and then I'll make it again. I eat it almost every day because it's just like quick and easy. I just heat it up, throw some peanut butter on it, and that's, it's got my carbs, it's got my fat from the peanut butter, it's got my protein from the eggs, and it's got my veggies with the carrots. So that's one thing that I make. Another thing that I always have on hand is I do an egg bake, and I usually split it. I know that the egg whites in the carton aren't the best for you, but they are super convenient, and it's a really good source of protein. So I'll do half and half. I'll do half eggs and half egg whites. So I do, and I don't think I have this recipe up, so I'll tell you what I do because it's really super simple. I bake it at 350 degrees. It's just 2 cups of egg whites, 6 eggs, and I saute some spinach. Usually it's like, I'm trying to think, I think 6 cups of raw spinach. I just cook the spinach. I saute it in a little bit of oil, olive oil usually, but you can use coconut oil or whatever you like. And I just cook it until it's wilted. I get a pan, I want to say it's probably like a 9x13 pan, like a rectangular one. I pour the 2 cups of egg whites in. Then I do the spinach. I spread it out evenly, and then I put on top of that the beaten eggs, so 6 eggs. That goes on top. It goes in the oven, and I just cook it. I want to say it probably takes like maybe 25 to 30 minutes. I just check to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. And then I cut that into 6 sections, and I put it inside a Ziploc, one of those containers, and I eat it every morning. I just heat it up in the microwave. I put it on top of a piece of Ezekiel toast, and I usually put some, what's it called? Everything But the Bagel seasoning. If you have never had that, it's amazing. If you have a Trader Joe's by you, you need to run and get some. You can also order on Amazon, I believe. So those are 2 things that are like sort of my go-to, the egg bake and the carrot cake. Other ideas and things that I do fairly often, I chop up strawberries. I just chop them up, and then the strawberries tend to get moldy quickly, or they go bad quickly. So what I do is I rinse them off, I chop them up, and then I put them into like one, those Ziploc, like the disposable, almost like Tupperware containers. But I also add a paper towel on the bottom and then put another one on the top. That absorbs the moisture so that they don't get moldy very quickly. And you can do that with lots of different vegetables. I do it with leafy greens, kale. If I buy kale that's on the stalk, and I usually just rip it right off the stem, and I rinse it off, and then I put it in a large bag with some paper towels just to absorb the moisture, just so it stays fresh. It just helps to do that. What else do I do? Hard boiling eggs ahead of time. That's really easy. Chicken. This is one of my favorite things to do. So, and this is so easy, you guys. One of the fastest and easiest ways to prep chicken is just throw it into a crock pot. I shouldn't say fastest because it still has to cook, but I mean, it's like no work. I literally split open the package, dump it in. I don't put anything else in with it. No water, no seasoning, nothing. And I just crank that baby up. Usually, if I put it on high, it cooks in like 4 hours. And then I take it out and I shred it. I just take a fork, 2 forks actually, and just shred it. And I even saw somebody posted recently on Facebook that they use like an electric beater to shred their chicken. They just put it in there and it beats. I've never tried that, so I can't vouch for it, but it might be fun to try. And then that chicken is really good for putting on top of salads. Sometimes I just saute it up with a little bit of coconut oil and Dijon. That's really good. And you can add veggies. It's awesome with broccoli or zucchini or kale. Sometimes I've thrown it into like broth and with veggies just to make like a quick soup. I'm trying to think of what else I do with that. Usually I just saute it though, or throw it on salad. And that's, again, super easy to do. Making soups and chilies, that's another really great food prep idea. I know right now it's summertime, so that might be like the furthest thing from your mind, but it is an easy thing to do. I'll usually make like a big vat of chili on the weekend, and then I have it all week for lunches and dinners. So that's something else that you can do. Chopping veggies and just putting them in little Ziploc containers, or I'm sorry, Ziploc bags. That's very easy too. So see, like there are lots of different things that you can do. In addition to that egg bake, there are a lot of different recipes online, and Pinterest has tons of ideas too, where you can go in and you can make like these egg muffins. So you can just grab them and go. Sometimes I do eat in my car. I know that's not the best thing to do, but if I'm in a hurry and I've got to get to work, it is what it is. Another thing that I do is I usually make up a batch of either brown rice or quinoa so that I can just grab that throughout the week and add it to things. Both are great to add to soups or chilies if you have those made already. Quinoa is great on salad, so I'll do that a lot. I'm trying to think of what else I do with the quinoa. Oh, so there's another meal that I will put together quite often that's really good. And so it's quinoa and then butternut squash and ground turkey. And I'm a super lazy cook, so I don't like to chop stuff, especially stuff like butternut squash, because if you've ever tried to do that, like it's super hard, and it's not a fun experience. You've got to peel it and you've got to chop it, and it's just hard to get the knife through it, and it's not the most fun experience. So Trader Joe's again, and I love Trader Joe's. You'll hear me rave about it all the time. They have really good butternut squash, and it's chopped into chunks. So I'll buy 2 packages of that. I roast it in my oven. I just put it at 350. I coat it with a little bit of spray oil and a little bit of sea salt, and I put it in for usually about a half an hour. I take that out, and I just put it into a Tupperware container and keep it in my fridge. Same thing with the quinoa. I just keep that in my fridge, and then the turkey, I just brown it, and I put that in the fridge. So a great meal is to just put all 3 of those things together, the turkey, the quinoa, and the butternut squash. I heat that all up together. I add some coconut oil, some sea salt, and some cinnamon, and mix it all up. And oh my gosh, it's so good. It sounds kind of weird, but it is really, really delicious. And I eat that quite often. It's a great pre or post workout meal. It's great for lunch or dinner, and it keeps really well if you have to bring it to work. I usually put it in a container and I just bring it and heat it up for like a minute and a half. So that's really easy too. So just think of the foods that you really enjoy eating. This preparation stuff, it does take a little bit of time. If you're going to use your weekend for food prep time, it takes maybe an hour or 2 depending on what you're making, but it makes your life so much easier throughout the week. So if you work full time, you have a ton of food in the fridge that you can grab to pack to bring to work. And that's what I do. I have like a really big insulated bag. It's like the size of a large purse, and I pack that thing full every day with my food to bring to work with me so that I have healthy options. Because otherwise, in the office we've got bagels and muffins and cupcakes and all this stuff. They order pizza, and it's very easy to be tempted, especially if you're hungry. But if you have everything with you already, it's like so much easier to resist. So I highly recommend doing that. And then when you come home to make dinner, you've got veggies that are chopped already. You have chicken that's made, or even, if you don't want to make your meats and stuff ahead of time, at least have stuff ready. So like I usually have chicken breasts in the fridge. I often have salmon that I can just cook. We have an air fryer, which makes things a lot easier to cook. Air fryer is it works like a convection oven. So I throw chicken breasts in there. I think they're done in like 12 minutes, and they're really juicy and really delicious. Sometimes when you bake chicken in the oven, it gets dried out. It never gets dried out in the air fryer, and it's just very simple. So that's something that you can do as well. But having this preparation done ahead of time really does save you guys a lot of time. So give it a shot. And if you have any other ideas, I would love to hear them myself. I'm always looking for ideas for myself and my clients to save time, to make sure that you're eating healthy. This food prep really helps you to stay on point while saving yourself some time. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was really helpful. I'll probably do more on this eventually because I'm always changing up my own routine and doing different things. So, as I change my routine, I'll share that with you as well. But again, I'm always open to ideas that you have. And coming up on Thursday, we have Victoria Worley joining us. I've known Victoria for a couple of years now. She's such a doll, and she's been dealing with many health issues since I've known her. Specifically, she has bouts with Bell's palsy, which makes it really difficult for her to work. It makes it difficult for her to stick to her fitness routine. I mean, some days she can barely even function, but she still maintains this really positive attitude. She still maintains her level of fitness. She recently discovered that she loves run Disney races. She started running. And just watching her, I'm friends with her on Facebook, and just watching her journey has been really, really inspiring. And I thought that would be a really nice share for you guys as well. So she'll be on the show on Thursday night. Next Tuesday, just so you guys are aware ahead of time, is the night before 4th of July. So we're going to take a night off from the holiday, and we'll be back next Thursday, which is July 5th. So we will see you this coming Thursday with Victoria, and have a great couple of days. Bye.